Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Farzad Babazmi. Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. Before we begin, if you can see my screen, which is the Visme homepage, and if you can hear my voice okay, please click on raise hand at the bottom of your screen. Great. I see a lot of hands up, so I assume we're ready to move on. So today I'm going to go through the basics of Visme and how you can get it started with the platform and create awesome looking content within just a matter of a few minutes and save yourself and your team a ton of time. The demo section of the webinar takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and we're going to have a quick Q&A session towards the end. Also, as we go along, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message in the Q&A box, not the chat box. And I'll address them one by one after the demo section live. This webinar is being recorded. You're going to receive a link to the recorded video tomorrow so you can review and or share it with your colleagues. So sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get started. Just to give you a quick introduction, you guys, Visme is an all-in-one content creation platform that lets you create captivating, interactive visuals without having to have any particular design background. We have over 1.3 million users from over 100 countries in the world. From individual users and educators to nonprofit organizations and Fortune 500 companies, such as folks from IBM, Sony, Workday, NASA, etc. All right, so let's dive in and take a look at the platform. So as you log into Visme, it takes you right into an area which we call the dashboard, and here you can actually see a quick preview of your previous projects. And as you notice here, we try to keep everything very minimalistic and straight to the point. So it's actually pretty simple to work with because I'm not a designer, and to figure out a new software, I have difficulties. So we definitely try to solve that issue by keeping everything very super simple. So to create a new project, you literally click on Create New. And here it gives you an area content type. So anything from presentations, infographics, documents that we just launched, printables, web graphics, social graphics, or you can actually start from a blank canvas and start creating stuff from scratch. And here you can actually pick it width and height based on different scales, and then you can actually start creating stuff that are not in our template library. So for the purpose of this webinar, I took a look at the questions I asked you guys, and most of you are interested in creating an infographic and presentation. So we're going to go ahead and get started with an infographic and touch base on presentations. I should just mention that the design process is similar across all the different content types. So as you know how to design an infographic, you can design a presentation, documents, etc. So the Visme editor is the same. So as far as infographics go, we have a library of hundreds and hundreds of templates here that are designed by our team of professional graphic designers over here in our office in Rockwell. And to find a template, you actually have to browse through the whole thing because it will take forever. So we made it searchable by keywords. So in case you would like to create an infographic about traveling, for instance, you look up the keyword travel, and it gives you a bunch of relevant templates. And then you can actually click on this magnifier up here and see a preview of a template as you wish. And then you can select theme. I should mention that you can also start from scratch, blank canvas. Okay, great. So as you click on a template, it will take you right into the area which we call the Visme editor. And here's where all the magic happens. So you can actually see that we try to keep the same style, minimalistic design also for the same editor. So here I'm actually going to go through the basics, the very basics, because I know a lot of you guys are new Visme users, so you might not know some of the basic features that we offer. But for some of you folks that are already a Visme user and are just trying to hone your skills, just bear with me for a few minutes and we're going to actually get into some more advanced features. So an infographic, as you can tell, the way I look at them is that it's basically like a presentation to me that the slides are stacked on top of each other. So it's a very trendy way of visual communication that you can kind of teach your audience of a particular subject or use it for your marketing efforts, and your audience can absorb a quite amount of information with just a glance of an eye. So it's definitely a useful tool for you folks who are not using infographics. I definitely recommend it. We use it a ton in our blog for almost all of our articles. So it's definitely working for us. So just to give you a quick introduction, everything that you see in Visme, all the icons, all the texts are highly personalizable. So that means that you can select any object, you can change the fonts, change the size, change the color, and it's by just a click of a button. You can go up, go to this top bar up here, and then you can actually customize it to what you need it for. So if I want to change this color to a bluish color, I'll be able to do so, or you can just copy and paste the code and click OK, and it's done. The other things you can do also is that, all these icons that you see here, they are not pictures, all vectors. So no matter how big or tiny they are, the quality doesn't change. And to replace it, you click on replace icon, and you can actually tap into our library of icons here. So if I want another car, and we are going to get to all these assets. But just to give you a quick example, you can just click on that, and it will replace it for you and changes the color automatically. So that's as far as present to our customizability goes. You can also, as you see, every infographic has three main parts: the header, the body, and a footer, just like an essay or an article. And then every single part is actually consists of different blocks. So for the header part, for instance, it's just one block that you can sort and move them up and down and resize them by just dragging this little bar up here. So it's pretty easy to resize. And to add a new block, you click on this plus sign up here that says add block, and you can either add a blank block and start tapping into this assets that we're going to get to here in a few minutes, or you can actually tap into our library of pre-made blocks under our block template library. So as you click on add from template instead, it will take you right into an area which we have categorized our block templates based on different and a variety of purposes. So for instance, if I would like a stats and figure, I can click on stats and figure, and it gives me a bunch of options. And as you click on one, it will pop it right into your infographic. So that's as far as resizing and adding different block goes. So let's go ahead and actually add a blank block so I can tell you how you can create a block or create a template out of scratch by yourself. So as you tap into our library assets up here, let's go through them one by one to see what they're for. So the first one up is basics. I'm not a designer, and that's why it's often hard for me to kind of come up with different combinations of text, objects, and pictures that would look good when they're put together. So what we did in Visme to kind of ease that process, we have made pre-made blocks that you can tap into our library of pre-made text blocks, stats, figures, or graphics, and text. So to add a new text block, you can either start, adding one of these sample or simple text blocks that you see all around, or you can actually, choose more sophisticated versions and kind of start customizing these. And it's pretty easy to work with, and you just click and you can customize the color, the text, etc. And the good thing about it is that, let's say I create my own block out of different assets. And then what I can do is that I can actually select this block or select different objects that I create and click on save to my blocks. So what happens next is that next I'm gonna go to basics and I'm creating any type of content. So it could be a presentation, it could be an infographic, or it could be any other content type. You can go onto my content tab instead of the suggested content, and then you can drag and drop and use that particular block that you created. And then you can also customize it. So you don't need to recreate things. So second step is graphics. Here we have a library of over 500,000 free stock photos. They're all copyright free and also royalty free, so you can use them for commercial purposes as much as you would like. And they're all searchable by keyword. So if I would like a picture about clouds, for instance, you can look up clouds and it just gives you a bunch of high quality images. So to use them, you can actually drag and drop it. So if you drop it on the top part here, it sets it as the background, or if you drag it and drop it on the bottom part, it will just bring it to your canvas as an image. So let's set this as the background, see how it goes. It normally takes a few seconds to load up because, as I mentioned, there are high quality pictures, and then you can actually, adjust it. And what you can do also, after you set the background, you can click on that background, click on filter, and it gives you some bunch of Instagram-like filters that you can apply. Or what I do most of the time is that I leave it as no filter and I put a color overlay according to the color theme that I have. And then as you increase that thing or increase that color overlay transparency, you can see that color kind of blends in with your picture. And then what I normally do is that I bring in another text box and have it added to my content. And of course, let me delete that background really quick so you can actually tap into other assets as well. You can upload your images, of course, by clicking on this upload, and you can upload images from your computer. And the other part is that I kind of touched base on earlier was icons and shapes. So here we have a library of hundreds of icons. And what you can do here is that you can actually search for keywords also. So if I want a cloud icon, I look for cloud, and then you can drag and drop one of these icons here. And then, as I mentioned, they're all vectors. So it doesn't matter how big or tiny they are, the quality stays the same, and you can also customize it as well. So if I want this color to be orangish, you'll be able to do so. Third step is data visualization. So this is actually my favorite part about Visme, is that we made the process of visualizing numbers and statistics extremely simple. It's actually one of the best ways that you can convince your audience of a particular topic to actually show them the stats and figures that would justify the explanation behind your theory. So to start from the top, we have charts, which we call the graph engine here, which you can actually punch in and copy and paste your data over here in the sample spreadsheet, and it draws a graph for you automatically. And we have 16 different chart types, 2D and 3D, and they're all automatically animated. And what you can do here is, after you actually have your data set up, you can go under import data, and then you can link it to Google Spreadsheet for dynamic data. So in case you have a live data or a type of data that changes every once in a while, that could be a monthly revenue, that could be a number of users, that could be anything. You can actually link it to Google Spreadsheet. Anytime that data updates or changes, Visme automatically will design another graph for you and basically updates your graphs automatically. You can upload from Excel, of course, and under settings, you get full control over the legend, the style, etc. of your graphs. As you click insert, it will pop it right into your content. Second step is tables. You can, of course, create simple tables here, and we have a bunch of different themes that you can pick from, but you can customize it and add text. It's very self-explanatory. The third chart type, or the third way of data visualization, which is my favorite, is maps. So as you click on this map engine up here, you can either start globally, or you can actually look for a particular country. So if I want to start from like United States, for instance. So what we do at Visme is that we sometimes visualize our number of users per country or per state. So to do so, you click on, after you pick a country, you click on edit this map, and then you can punch in your data, whatever that is. Here's just a sample data, area per square kilometer. And then as you go under map settings, you can turn on area value map. And here you can actually set a range. So from like light blue to dark blue. I show the legend. And then what you can do also here, so what Visme does for you automatically is that according to the data that you put in here, it shades different states or it shades different countries based on that particular number. So the higher the number, the darker the color. So as you insert it inside your content, it will be also fully interactive. So as you go ahead and preview it or share it, as people hover their mouse over the particular states, it would actually show that value that you've uploaded for that state also. We have 34 different data widgets, and these are very cool. So as you actually drag and drop any of these, as you double click on them, you can change the value. And if you want it to be not a percentage or just a number, you can do so by just dragging it dragging this little bar over here, and the design changes automatically. And you can actually customize the colors, etc. So you don't have to actually go through the trouble of design a whole graph or design a whole widget. We'll do it for you. Or just another example is that as in this icon is that you can actually pick different icons. So here you can actually start from baseball and football instead of men and women. And then you can have 10 of these and maybe 5 of that, and then change the number per row, etc. And it's good to go. So very easy, very intuitive. We have also like live clocks as well that you can change the style, etc. Pretty cool. Fourth step is media. So you can, of course, insert your own videos. You can upload your own videos. Unfortunately, we don't host videos unless you're on our enterprise plan. But if you have a YouTube video or a Vimeo video, you can put in the link here and you get full control over the settings of it also. So if you want it autoplayed or muted or looped or start at a particular time, you can change those settings, click done, and it pops right into your content and your audience will be able to view it. Second is adding audio. So we have a free stock library of background audio. You can, of course, record your own voice and put it on your either infographic or presentation for the most part. And also you can, of course, upload your own audio files from your computer. And the third step here is embedding online content. And here, let's say you have we could say a survey or a poll, or it could be, for instance, an online quiz that you're using a third-party software to create. And what you can do is that if that software gives you the HTML code, you can copy and paste that code over here and click done, and it pops it right into your content. So just to give you an example, let's say you're a nonprofit organization who wants to have a direct donate us widget. So you can, of course, have like a little button here that as you click, it goes to another page and that will need to sign up, etc. Or you can actually have like a little widget here that you can embed from a third-party software that you can put in the amount of money that you want to donate, and you have like an integration with PayPal also, and then you click donate and it's done. You don't have to actually leave Visme to do so. So that's also pretty handy. There are 2 other things I want to mention before we move on, and that's theme colors. So let's say I created this infographic, but as you see, like there's this purplish, bluish icon up here, and I added a new block, so all of these widgets are in a weird color, which is very inconsistent with the rest of my infographic because they're mostly orange and grayish base. So what you can do under theme colors, just by a click of a button, so let's say red, it would automatically redesigns and recolors your entire content. That could be an entire presentation, or in this case, an entire infographic. Unless you actually specify a particular color to be set, the rest could be adjusted just by a click of a button. And as you actually pay attention, we have a My Brand theme colors here that you can actually customize based on your brand colors. And I'm going to teach you how you can add your own theme colors onto My Brand area. And the last step is My Files, which is basically very similar to Dropbox or Google Drive, that you can keep all of your assets, keep all of your pictures and images over here in Visme, so you don't have to leave Visme. You get a pretty good amount of storage here also. So there's absolutely no limitation on the number of images you can upload, and then you can actually share with your team members. So for instance, this Visme logos here that are all shared with me. So it's pretty handy to keep everything under the same place. Other thing I want to kind of point out before we move on to sharing and downloading is interactivity. So anything that you see in Visme is fully interactive. You can animate every text, object, picture, etc. And then what you can do is that you can actually you can actually drag and drop over any particular object or text. And at the top bar, you can click on animate, and then you can pick animation effect, and then you can actually put a delay on it. So after 1 second, I want it to fly from left. The other cool thing you can do, and then I'm going to show you how that applies on the preview here in a few seconds, is that you can create pop-ups. So let me actually just give you a very rudimentary example. So let's say I want to have this text box over here, and then I want to have the Visme logo added to this canvas. And what I want to do is that as my audience hovers his or her mouse over this Visme logo, I want this website text box to appear. And again, this is a very simple basics example. You can do a lot of cool stuff with this pop-ups. So as you click on this Visme logo, you can go ahead and click link. And just another note while we're here is that you can actually link any object or text or picture to a website, social media, or email address, or to a particular block. You can link it to, for instance, it would jump into the header block if they click on this link or click on this object. And pop-up is what we're going to use for the purpose of this example, is that you can actually pick a layer to pop up. So the name of this text box is header copy, and you can show on hover. And as you click apply, then that pop-up is set up, and I'm going to show you how. But before we jump right in, so you saw that the name of this was header copy, but that's because I knew that it was because there are not many other objects in here. So you might be wondering, okay, Farzad, so what if we had a lot of objects here and we didn't know the design names under each and every single layer? So what you can do is that you can actually up on this menu, you can click on show objects list. And as you click on particular objects here in this block, it will actually show you the name. So that way you'll know. So let's go ahead and see what we created, right? So under preview, as we expect, this whole thing has to be animated, which it is. And just another thing I want to point out is that as I scroll down this infographic, I want you to kind of pay attention to how things come across. So we use in Visme something called parallax, which the speed which the background goes is different from the rest of the object. So that makes it automatically kind of animated, which is a lot more engaging than just a static piece of content. And as you see, you don't see the text box here. So as I hover my mouse over this logo, you will see that that text is going to pop up. Alrighty, so let's close preview. So you might be wondering, okay, Farzad, we designed this good-looking infographic within just a matter of a few minutes. So how can we put it in front of our audience? So there are two ways. One thing is the traditional way of sharing is to download. And what you can do also is that if you're on a premium plan, you can download as a high resolution picture. So either in JPEG or PNG format. You can also download as a document or PDF file. And if you want to print it, you can actually turn on the bleed marks here as well. And for offline use, so let's say we have this pop-up, we have this cool animation, we want to preserve all of that, and we don't have internet connection, or we're not sure whether the person we were trying to present it to has internet access, you can actually download as an HTML5 format. It will preserve all of your animation and all of your interactivity while you're offline. And the second option, which what we recommend you guys to do, is sharing. So I know most of you guys must have used Google Docs, and a really cool feature they have is that you can actually get a shareable link and share it with your audience without you having to actually export it and download it and then upload it again in an email, and they'll need to download it again. Let's be honest, it's 21st century and there's no need for that. So in order to share something with your audience, you can just click on publish for web. And then as you pick a title and a description, you can publish it to the web, and Visme will give you a link that in any computer anywhere in the world, your audience would be able to access your fully interactive content. And they're all going to be fully animated. And so you'll see here like the Visme logo, the blog gallery, create your Visme. If you're in a premium plan, you'll be able to actually hide this and upload your own logo and fully customize it to a brand. So there's no worries. Also, the problem with publishing to web, though, is that in case you have some confidential information, it might get indexed by Google if it's a popular piece of content. So you can actually share privately inside Visme on our complete or team plans. And so here you can ask, as you generate link, so this link is not going to be indexed by Google by any means. And then the other thing is that you can actually put a password on it for an extra level of security. And next time you go ahead and view it, and it will actually take a minute for it to update. Next time your audience goes and view it, they will need to punch in the password, click watch, they will know. So aside from having to have the link, they will also need to have the password. What you can do also is embedding. So if you actually go to our blog, lots of our blog posts, as I mentioned, have infographics, or if you want to have a piece of content that is fully interactive, you want to embed in your website, you'll be able to just copy and paste this link, and it will be a fully interactive, fully responsive, high quality content right in your website. So you don't need to download anything at any time. Just one last thing I want to point out, and this part is advanced settings. So as you click on advanced settings up here, it will give you full customization. So you can, turn off the comments, you can make it responsive, you can hide your profile, you can make animation autoplay. And one thing I really like about this, as far as under social/engagement, is requiring registration. So I'm a marketing guy, I'm really into lead generation, or even some teachers would like to have their students signing in and see who's actually viewing their content. So as it turns this on, next time you go in and try to view your content, Visme will ask you, hey, punch in your name, email, and company name. And then as an administrator of your Visme account, so whoever's owner of the Visme account will be able to access those leads or that information as you collect it from your audience. So as far as sharing goes, and again, guys, in case you have any questions, please feel free to put it under Q&A, not the chat box. I know our founder, CEO, Payman, has joined us, so it'd be great if you guys can put all of your questions on the Q&A so we make sure we answer all of them and nothing gets overlooked. All right, so let's go ahead. Enough of infographics. Let's talk about a little about presentations. So, and that's actually one of my favorite content types in Visme. So as you click on create new to create a new project, you go ahead and the same page, and then under presentations, you're going to see your brand templates. So here, you're not going to see it as a new Visme user, but we have it added to our own account, and I'm going to tell you actually how you can add it to your own brand themes. But as a new Visme user, you're going to see at the bottom of your screen or at the top of your screen, in your case, it would be create from a vast library ready to use slides. So you go and get here, you get two options, classic or modern. So under legacy templates, so let's actually give you a quick background. So I personally have a very hard time picking a theme that I like for my presentation. Why? Watch. So as I click on legacy templates, which is our old library templates, which you can still tap into and use if you would like. But what happened here is that we have, tens of these templates, and it would take a long time to browse through all of these, click this magnifier, see which one I like. They're very catchy looking content, but at the same time, that presentation I'm trying to create might not need all the slides. And sometimes when I do need them, I might need two of these slides and one slide from here, two slides from here. So it's just a pain to kind of come up with all these. So what I would normally end up doing was just to start stuff from scratch, which would take a significant amount of time. So we were like, at Visme, we're like, why do people do this? Let's just forget about all of these. Just classic and modern, just pick one of these. And guys, in the chat box, and here's where we're going to use it. The first person who puts in classic or modern, we're going to go through one of these. So classic or modern, you guys pick. The first person who puts in the chat box, we're going to. All right, Victoria is our winner. Picked modern. And so did Cami, Maiden, Kate, Kofi. So everybody's going for modern. All right, let's go to modern. And again, it would be a similar design process to classic. It would just be, the difference would be in the templates. So as you click on modern, it will take you right back to the Visme editor. And again, pay attention that everything here, all the different details, all the assets are the same as infographics. So is other content types. And then it would just bring one slide into your editor. You might wonder, okay, Flowers, well, good job. I mean, just one slide. Like I might need to create a 20 slide deck. I mean, what would I do? So you need to add another slide. How would you add another slide? You click on add slide from this top right corner. And now watch. So similar to our blog template library that I added from our templates, so we had categorized them based on the type of blog you're trying to add next. We do the same concept and we applied it to presentations also. And that would make the process 10 times faster. So let's say I would like, first of all, I don't like this title page. I think it's not very good looking. So I click on this gear button and click delete. So I'll go under title category, and then it gives me a bunch of different title ideas. So I just drag and drop the one I like. And then after title, I would like an introduction. So I would like this introduction template, for instance. And again, you get tens of these for each category. And then you might need services and maybe some, you can actually search by keywords also. So let's say I want a comparison slide. You search for comparison and it gives you a bunch of comparison slides. So I want these. And then at the end, I would like a thank you slide. Perfect. So you just saw, I just created my own custom made template that I'm going to use every single one of the slides within just a matter of a few seconds. How cool is that? And then I can actually go in and customize every single object, text, picture, etc. It's the same design process and the same principles and the same interface as the rest of the content types that we just went through. And then what you do, there are just a couple other functions I want to mention here. So sometimes I personally have a hard time keeping track of my presentation, and especially if it's large and it's lengthy. So what I do is that I add a presentation note to each and every single one of my slides. So you can actually go ahead and under that menu, click on presentation notes, and you can type in like, this is a test, or you can add it for, multiple slides. So you can go ahead under presentation notes, be like, my name is Farzad. Great. And that will be added, and I'm going to tell you how you can actually access those notes while you're presenting. One other thing I want to mention before we jump right into preview is our transitions. So we actually just roll out a new set of transitions which are smart, and you actually know how your content is like, and it will actually automatically create a really catchy looking transition for you. So how do you do it? You click on that gear button here, and then you go under change transition, and then you can actually pick a transition effect. So from like enter from bottom, you can click apply, and you can do it actually for every single. So you can pick different transition types for different slides. So let's pick the first three, and you can actually apply to all slides if you don't want to do it for all of them. So let's see how they're going to look like. Okay. So next time I go ahead and publish it, and I share that link with my audience, and they go in and try to view my content. Let's see how this is going to look like. You see how that is? Isn't that cool? Yeah. So I just animated the whole thing, and I just created these transitions within just a matter of a few seconds. So it would look like that I spent hours and hours coding this, but in reality, I will just push a button and Wisdom does it for me automatically. Oh, next thing, sorry, I actually closed this out. Next thing was our presentation notes. So let's say you're trying to present this awesome looking content, and what you can do is that you can actually go full screen here. So you can put this on the TV or on the video projector, wherever it is you're trying to present. And at the bottom left or bottom right corner of your screen, and that second button here, and pay attention to my mouse movement. So this is what we call the presenter view. And then we'll open up another tab. And again, pay attention that it will keep this one on. So I'll just put this on full screen, put it on the TV on my computer. I keep this tab. And what it does here is that, you can see a preview of your presentation. You can see your presentation notes. You can see the time that's being passed, and then you can actually control from here. If I actually go to this fourth slide, you see that this other tab is automatically on the fourth slide. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, I'm talking too much and I'm going over time. So let's go ahead and start working towards wrapping up. There are just a couple other really cool features that I want to go through with you guys. Let's go in back to the dashboard. So one thing I keep saying throughout my presentation was my branding, how you can set your branding guidelines. So a lot of our users come to us and they're like, Farzad, we have a team of graphic designers, we have a team of people, marketing team, sales team. They want to use your platform, but they don't have a particular design knowledge. And at the same time, we have a brand guideline. And what can we do to enforce those brand guidelines? So no matter who's actually using our platform to create content, it will all be consistent. So what we did is that we created this My Brand area. And here you can actually, as an administrator or as the designer of the account, you can upload your own fonts. And you see here we have a library of fonts that we've uploaded ourselves. And then you can upload them as a TTF file, so TrueType files, or WWF. I think that's the font types we support, which are 99% of the fonts out there. And as you click on, or as you turn this off, you can actually restrict your team members' ability to use Visme default fonts. So we have this library of fonts here. If I turn this off, when you go onto the editor, you will only be able to access those fonts. And if you leave it on, it will just be added to Visme fonts. Second step is colors. So you can add your own brand colors. So we have like a sample here. As you click on this plus sign up here, you can punch in the code of the color that you're trying to add for your brand. Click OK. And it adds it on the brand color. You can do the same for theme colors. I told you guys to kind of keep an eye out for it. You can click on add a new theme color, and you can customize this theme and click apply, and it'll just add it here. And again, pay attention that you can turn off and on these access to other Visme default colors, so you can actually enforce it to your team. Templates. So under presentations, I told you that you could add your own template. So let's say I created this good looking presentation and I want to use it again, or just share it with my team members to be able to use it as a template. You'll be able to just look for a project name, add it here, or remove as needed anytime. And if you turn this off, your team members cannot use the rest of Visme default themes. They will just be restricted to those templates. Same goes for content types. So if you can actually turn off and on these content types here, you can actually try to decide whether or not you want to give access to all different content types to your team. And under logos, you can upload your own brand logo, and it replaces Visme logo everywhere, so it'll be fully branded. And again, that's a premium function, so you need to be on a premium plan. And brand links is you can actually put in your email address, Facebook page, Twitter handle, etc. And then next time you go in and try to link an object to your social graphics or your social media pages, you just pick Facebook. You don't have to type in the URL every time. Going back to my project, so then another thing is the analytics tool that we have. So let's go under all projects and see whether we have something published. So as you click on any project's analytics, so there's this menu here. As you click on analytics, well, here it's not published, so you don't really see much data here. But under overview, you can actually see the number of viewers, number of views, and the completion rate. So what is the completion rate? Is how much of your content, so if this is a presentation, how much of your content or how many slides on average have your audience has seen on average. And you can actually see a chart that has the number of views here. I can actually try opening up our analytics, but it's going to take a few seconds to load up since we have hundreds and hundreds of projects. And while that's loading up, let me actually tell you how you can add team members to your account and collaborate with your team members. So going back to the dashboard, as you click on Manage My Team, as an administrator, you can click on Add a New User. You can punch in their full name, email, pick a password for them, and pick a role. So they could be a marketing user, marketing manager, or that could be a salesperson, or they could be just a designer, or even an administrator. And as you pick a role for them, you can click on OK, and it will pop them right into the pending users area. And as you pay to activate users, they'll be automatically given access to. So that's basically how you can add new users. And next time you're back in dashboard, you can, so let's say I created this presentation, you can click Share Project, and then you can pick a particular group or a particular person here. Let's say I want to share with all of people who have a designer tag, or all of my salespeople or sales managers, or just particular persons. Like if I want to share with Paul, I just click Paul, and then you can either give them access to just view or just edit it. As you click OK, they'll be given access to. That's that. Let's see. Our analytics is up. Okay, so let's say I created a bunch of content. I published a lot of them. So you can actually see a general overview of all number of views for all of my projects. And at the bottom here, you see a quick breakdown for each and every single project. So you can see what percentage of them, or how many of them were viewed, what percentage of your entire viewers are from particular content, and then number of unique visits, average time they spend on it, etc. And as you actually click on each of these, it would actually show up. It will actually show you the breakdown for further details for the analytics of that piece of content. So as I mentioned, like the number of viewers, the number of views, and the completion rate, and you can see the view, the picks and dips of that particular content, and you can actually pick a custom date. So from like July 6th to August 7th, and of a particular year, and then you can download them as a CSV file and import them into your Salesforce or a particular CRM that you're using. Just one more thing here that I want to point out, which is extremely important, is that if you had a presentation, well, here I think it's an infographic or it's a particular what's it called? Presentation. It's a one slider. It's not a good example, but let's imagine we had 10 slides here. And then what you can do is that you can see the average number of seconds people spend on each slide. So the first, just imagine there's a bunch of these. And if you see like the second slide, just for an example, dips down and it picks back up again from the third slide on, you can actually see what particular slides people are skipping through. So if your second slide has a lower average time, that means that's not either very informative or very engaging. So that's an indicator that I need to go in and make some changes. And that's how you can actually measure performance, improve your content quality. And the second tab is number of viewers, that you can see who viewed your content, what device they were using, what's their location. You're not going to see information about them, of course, but you can see a kind of general information. Unless you have the form registration on, in that case, you can go on the form results and download those as CSV also. Great. So this is basically the general overview of Visme.